Mayor Santellana. How are you?
I'm good, Mayor. How are you this morning?
Well, I'm doing well, trying to get ready for my strategic planning. Start listening to your station and wanted to defend myself a little bit.
Well, okay. So let's, obviously you've heard our discussion about this proposed ordinance.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I haven't heard it all. Somebody texted me, and I'm about in the middle of it.
Okay. All right. So tell us, what is your take on, your view on it? I'm guessing you're in support of it.
I'm in support of it. I brought it up.
Okay.
The first reason I brought it up was I'm one of the worst. I'm one of the worst texters and drivers, and I'm one of the worst guys on my cell phone. I myself have almost put myself and my children in danger several times. You see it every day. For the argument of people that, you see somebody putting on makeup, how it can be worse than somebody putting on makeup, somebody eating. For every person I see putting on makeup, everybody I see eating a sandwich, I probably see 200 texters. There's no doubt in my mind. There's no doubt in my mind that it's a public safety concern. There's no doubt in my mind that it's an epidemic.
Well, but we're talking about, texting and driving. That's one thing. Because, I cannot text and not look at the phone. And I think most people can't do that. But having a conversation, even a hands-free or with the phone up to your ear, is a little different story, isn't it?
Well, we're allowing them to have a hands-free conversation. What we're trying to do is make it all-encompassing because it does two things for me. It helps me enforce it and helps me prosecute it. Because I don't want to put the burden on my police staff to make a judgment call every time they pull somebody over. And if somebody has a defense, they can always just say, well, I was talking on, I wasn't texting. That puts Amy Kokorian, our prosecutor, in a weird predicament when she's trying to prosecute these things, and you come up with this excuse that, well, I was talking, I wasn't texting. Because it's too hard for us to prove. Well,
Mayor, now hang on just 1 second here, though. Now, you can, and I know this has been done in other places. Let's say you have a case where someone is involved in a serious accident, and there are charges filed, and the city has to prosecute that case, the district attorney, whoever. They can subpoena phone records, and the company, the self-service provider, can tell you if that person was talking, if they were texting. They know what was going on that phone. Yes,
that's correct. But can you imagine the efforts and the money we had to put in subpoenaed phone records for just a ticketable offense? It doesn't make sense. It needs to be all-encompassing, and it's an inconvenience. I stated it yesterday. It's an inconvenience on myself. It's an inconvenience on my council, my whole city staff, and it's an inconvenience on the city of Wichita Falls. But I would rather inconvenience somebody and make my city a little bit safer than just say I didn't, because I got to look at it on the other side. What if my neighbor gets run over, one of their kids get run over, and they come to me and it's like, you had the ability to help this. Will I stop it? No. Well, we've had speed limit signs since the inception of cars, and we wrote 497 speed tickets last month. Now, did I stop speeding? No. But am I being responsible by leaving those speed limit signs up? Yes. That's why we have stop signs, red lights. We have a responsibility as elected officials. If our citizens want to act irresponsible on our city streets that we own and maintain, we have a responsibility to the public safety of the rest of the people who don't want to see that.
Well, but again, I think it comes back to we're trying to in so many ways where it's overreach, I think, and we're trying to legislate common sense and legislate good decision making. You can't really do that. At some point, it's incumbent upon the individual to exercise good judgment and responsibility. But you're never going to be able to effectively legislate that stuff, are you?
Let's go back to seatbelt laws. Do you remember when we changed over in the state of Texas that we had to wear seatbelts? It had to be done, and people fought it.
Yeah.
Because we were, and it's true, it's different for seatbelts because if you want to kill yourself, a lot of people are like, if I want to kill myself, that's my own prerogative. Well, this is different. You're not killing yourself, you're killing somebody else by texting and driving.
Well, but
equivalent. When I heard the stat yesterday that it's equivalent to driving a football field blindfolded several times during a trip.
Oh. Well, again, I think a lot of the data is being manipulated to defend this. Totally manipulated.
If I'm a common sensor, which I am, if I'm a common sensor, I could tell you right now, texting and driving and distracted driving is dangerous. Would you agree?
Well, of course I agree. It's dangerous that if you're distracted. But, Mayor, we can make the argument that having a conversation with your child in the back seat is distracted driving, too. You can make an argument that your radio in your car is distracted driving.
It is distracted driving, but TxDOT, the best piece of information that we got yesterday was from Tish Beaver at TxDOT.
Yeah.
Who told us it's threefold. When you're texting, it takes all three of your senses off that it takes to drive. It takes your visual, it takes your cognitive, and it takes your touch away. So basically, you're having to use all three to text. Now, 2 out of 3 you can drive with. If your kid's screaming in the background, you're like, "Hey, Junior, you need to hush up." You can still drive with that. If you briefly, put your finger a touch over there and you turn your radio dial, that's fine. But texting takes all three. And all three, the average of 4 seconds. The average of 2 seconds, who cares?
Again, I think we're talking about two different things, though, here. The texting and driving, I agree, is incredibly dangerous. And I don't do it. I'm not going to do it. I don't try to respond to a text message while I'm driving because I can't do it. I can't watch the road. I cannot text and not look at my phone. I just can't do it. And I think most people can't do that. But having a phone conversation, I can talk to someone on my phone and my eyes are still forward and I'm still checking my mirrors and I'm still doing what I'm supposed to do. I don't, maybe I'm a different kind of driver. But even if I'm talking on my phone, I still signal my lane changes. I do all the things I'm supposed to do. And I've trained myself that way, frankly. I have. And I wear a seatbelt, not because the law tells me I have to, frankly, but because I had a friend who was involved in a very serious accident many years ago and did not have a seatbelt on. I saw firsthand the results of not wearing that seatbelt. So therefore, I wear one because I understand that if I'm going 70 miles an hour and my vehicle suddenly comes to a dead stop, my body is still going 70 miles an hour unless something restrains me from doing that.
But do you realize that some people only wear their seatbelt because we enforce that rule? Could you? I'm
sure there are some people who do that because they fear getting a ticket. But at some point, Mayor, I don't mean any disrespect. I don't mean any disrespect to anybody on the council. But the nanny state government stuff has got to stop. The cradle to grave nanny state stuff. At some point, we got to say enough is enough.
Well, at what point is that? At what point do me and my fellow elected officials look at a public safety concern and we turn a blind eye to it? At what point do you look at me and say, you know what, Mayor, I just don't want you to step in on this one?
I think at some point, you have to say,
if it's an epidemic, I don't see where I could turn a blind eye.
But I think at some point, public safety is incumbent upon the public to deal with, and not necessarily the government to deal with.
The public servants that were elected, that's why it's public. It's a privilege to be on these city streets. Do you realize that? Do you agree with that?
It's a privilege to have a driver's license, yes. So we've established that.
It's a privilege to have a driver's license. It's a privilege to be on these city streets owned and maintained by the city of Wichita Falls. If you want to place your vehicle in here, we have some way and some method to regulate what you do inside that vehicle while you're. If you're on your private land, have at it. You can smash into trees. You can run into stops. You can do whatever you want on your private land. But if you're going to be on a public roadway, then you're going to have to adhere to some things that we feel are public safety concerns. Now, speeding. Do you agree that we should have speed signs?
Well, yeah, of course you got speed. Of course, speed limits. Okay, common sense should tell me that I shouldn't drive 90 in a 30. I mean, common sense should tell people that, though.
But common sense also tells people that texting and driving is dangerous.
Yes,
there's no doubt about it. Now, if we want to go to the argument whether talking on the phone is a lesser danger, I can agree with you to that. Of course, I think common sense would also kick in there and say, yes, talking is to a lesser degree, but what it hurts is my enforceability. If I'm going to do it, I have to do it all-encompassing. Right. Put it this way. Shepherd Air Force Base already has it, 0 tolerance. Texas Department of Transportation, actually I think all Texas state departments, no texting while driving. All of DOD, Department of Defense, has that. The city of Wichita Falls already adopted it for all of its employees.
I'll tell you,
and I'm not worried about the other 98 cities. I'm really not, because people keep coming back to that.
Okay.
Oh, well, the 98 cities, why are we doing it? I was like, I don't care if I was the first to do it or the last to do it.
Mayor,
I'm doing it because it's inherent on me as a public official to upgrade our public safety.
Real quick, Mayor, do you think, is this something that the council would consider letting the public vote on?
I don't know. I can't poll my counselors. I think that's something. I couldn't tell you that, to tell you the truth. I couldn't tell you. I don't know where the pulse. I kind of know where the pulse of the council is now.
Right.
But just like I say before, the first and third Tuesday, that place should be packed with people with opinions, but they never show up. And that's part of the process. What this governmental process is, I will have them call your radio show. I will have them come on my Facebook page. I will have them comment on TRN Online, but they don't show up on Tuesday.
Well, part of it, though, Mayor, I think a lot of the people that are really concerned with it and really would have good input are probably working, aren't they, on Tuesday morning?
I've got an email. I print my emails. Anybody that calls me, I will print them. If they say, I want this read or I want this said at that meeting. I have no problem. I received 3.
Mayor,
I have 100,000 citizens.
All right, we're out of time. We're going to have to go. Mayor, thank you for calling. I appreciate it. We're going to have to agree to disagree on this topic, but I appreciate you calling, and I appreciate you listening. Thank you very much for your service to the community, Mayor. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right.